Sports Radio right after my show. He filled in for me last week. That was awfully nice of him. So I was saying to start the show when I watched Braun yesterday.
Hold on. You got Carissa here?
Yeah.
She makes me so nervous.
Can I tell you a story? So I run into Doug at the Super Bowl, and I'm all excited to see Doug. We, as we both did, used to work with Doug at the other network.
Yeah.
Haven't seen him in a while. I get all excited. I walk by. I'm like, Doug. I go to give him a hug, and he goes like this. He just walks right by.
No, that's not accurate, okay?
Doug, this just, why?
That's not accurate. It was Carissa's party. How big do you have to be to have your own party that everyone goes to?
Yeah.
Right? Like, whose party are we going to? Carissa Thompson's party.
Yeah, I was.
So she was.
We ran out of alcohol too. So what kind of party was that?
It's a Carissa Thompson. It's not a Carissa Thompson party until somebody runs out of alcohol. Really? She makes me nervous. She's so nice and so confident and will ask you anything at any point in time that she is one of the few people. I feel like I'm being interviewed on Access Hollywood or one of those shows.
She used to be on that show.
I know, and it makes me super nervous. I don't know why.
Well, I got very
great to see you.
I'm happy to see you too.
Okay, Isaiah Thomas. I was saying I think there's a great sentimental value, but I watch Isaiah Thomas and I'm like, Cleveland, sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but Cleveland's just way better without him, aren't they?
Yeah, but Isaiah Thomas also performed better. Look, the Isaiah Thomas thing, I think there's more, you can relate to this, or people can relate to this more than just the fact that he's 5'8" and averaged 29 points a game. In the last 6 or 7 months, he's lost $100 million, right? So when I drive to work, last time I lived in Southern California, the market was down.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about buying a house, but we hadn't sold our house in Connecticut, so we rented. And everybody's like, let's just see what the market does. And I remember I drove past the house, and it was $1 million. I said, man, $1 million is a lot of money for a house.
Right.
And it just sold for $2.3 million.
Right.
And so every time I drive past that house, I was like, I wanted that house. I almost bought that house. It was too expensive for me then.
Yeah.
And now there's no way I can afford it because, you know, California real estate has gone crazy.
Right.
Imagine if every time you go to work, you lost $100 million. That's what's happened. He played through an injury, which made it worse. Okay, he's already diminutive. The market does not appear to be one that's going to spike this offseason. Instead, it's more than settling. There actually looks like there's going to be a correction in the NBA offseason market, much like there's a correction in the Major League Baseball offseason market.
Right.
So I think that, yes, is Cleveland maybe better off without him? Sure, but it's got to be really hard to go to work every day playing around colleagues. Like last year, like it was 6 months ago, I averaged 29 points a game. I was an MVP candidate. I was going to make max money. And now I got traded 15 games in. So you're right. But remember, his first game with the Cavs, he lit it up, right? He had like 17 in 20 minutes. And so I think that a lot of this is first day at work, first day at school. Everybody loves their new teacher. Everybody loves their new outfit. Let's see what happens when the dust settles. I'm not disputing that they're not better without him, but I think there's a bigger personal story that people can relate to.
So I was saying this with LeBron. There's no reason why a Taylor Swift, an Eminem, or a Justin Timberlake would release an album and it wouldn't be great. Remember, they're more experienced. They're probably better singers. They have better writers and producers. They're rich. Their first albums, they weren't. But here Eminem and Justin Timberlake released new work, and it's kind of a whiff. Nobody likes it. And I said that's because they're in the third stage of icon. Show you how good I am, win a bunch of stuff, and then the brand becomes bigger than almost you.
Okay.
And the problem when you're in the mogul stage isn't that Kobe scored 60 last game. You can still be great. But it's hard to get inspired. You're on the mountain. You've won the awards. You got the cash and money. You get everything you want. So the reason that great artists, Jerry Seinfeld, when you're a billionaire, it's harder to be funny than when you're a millionaire. So when I watched LeBron yesterday, I'm like, oh, he's inspired again.
Yeah.
Like, to me, forget Rodney, forget all the pieces around him. Whatever this group of young guys did, LeBron was, like, laughing and joyful. And I'm like, oh, he's the classic icon who wasn't inspired. The album's bad. And yesterday, so to me, this whole trade's about engaging LeBron again.
No, there's no question about it. He wasn't putting forth his optimal effort. I mean, there's no reason. The Skip Bayless had a stat which before you went on vacation, he shared with us. Jason Whitlock talked about on Speak for Yourself, which was, he had over the last 7 weeks the lowest plus minus in the entire NBA. Okay, you only do that if you're trying to be bad. You're sending a message, right?
Right.
And he was sending a message that he was unhappy. And a happy LeBron is a productive LeBron. But again, this is short-term happiness. Long-term, will it be successful? And I think what the Cavs had tried to do was get older veteran players, maybe too many specialists for the playoffs. And the problem with that, and I told you that to start the year, was those pieces tend to break down. Those pieces they may say they can fit into those roles, but Dwayne Wade's never been a role player in his past. Right. Derrick Rose has never been a role player. Isaiah Thomas had never been a role player, right? So you ask these guys to be role players, and they don't play well in the sandbox. Now, the group that he got, they're just happy to be there, right? I mean, look, you get George Hill, who was in Sacramento, and he was mailing it in. Wasn't playing defense, just shooting threes, just doing enough. Rodney Hood, he'd worn out his welcome in Utah. He's up and down as a shooter. And, Jordan Clarkson, overpaid in L.A. by a previous regime. They didn't love him. Same thing with Larry Nance, previous regime's player. So now they're all energized, and he feeds off that energy. Right. LeBron's one of those guys. I think you're like this, where you feed off the energy of others.
Yes.
But it's just one game, dude. Because in the playoffs, there's a reason that LeBron wanted to surround himself with veteran players. Because veteran players like Dwayne Wade, they don't have it for 82 games. But they might have it for that one game, that one time you need it. Suddenly Dwayne Wade can recapture those superpowers. Yeah. Suddenly Derrick Rose can recapture those superpowers. They have it, and they've been there before, so they know what it's like. So while I think short term they're going to be bouncing and happy and energetic, let's see what happens when they get to playoffs, because it's a completely different level of competition, completely different sport in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season.
All right, stick around. I got a couple of questions for you. Chris Long's going to be showing up in less than an hour. Doug Gottlieb is joining us. Back with more in a second. Small business is a hot topic this year, and that means National Small Business Month at LegalZoom is coming at the right time. Listen, the new tax law includes the most significant changes for business owners in the last 30 years. LegalZoom can help you understand what it means for you. They are not a law firm, never have been. They have a network of independent tax pros and attorneys to answer your questions about taxes and more. LegalZoom understands you got to tap into the right resources to run a successful business. That's why they're using their 16 years of experience to provide business owners with the tools to start. Keep listening over the next few weeks. Find out how LegalZoom is going to help you during the National Small Business Month. In the meantime, check out LegalZoom.com. Enter COLIN in the referral box at checkout. LegalZoom.com, code Colin. It's where life meets legal. LegalZoom.com.